And hello and welcome to the English Box. Today we are going to talk about comparatives and in particular the as construction. So what do we use this as construction for? Well, as is used to express similarity and equality in its positive form. For example, London is as multicultural as New York. In its negative form, it is used to express difference. For example, London is not as big as New York. We can also replace the first as with so. For example, London is not so big as New York. This is more common in the negative, and it's also more common in American English than in British English. So let's look at the structure of an as sentence. London is as multicultural as New York. We begin with the subject, London, then we have the verb, is, then we have the first as or so, then the adjective, multicultural in this instance, then as again, followed by a noun or a pronoun. In this case, we have New York. Let's look at some more examples. I am 25 and my best friend is also 25. I am as old as my best friend. My best friend is as old as I am. And my best friend is as old as me. Notice when we only use the pronoun after the second as, we use the object pronoun. So let's look at the second example. I am 1.98 m and my best friend is also 1.98 m. We're very similar. I am as tall as my best friend is as tall as I am, or my best friend is as tall as me. As I said, we can use as in the negative form to express difference. So we're going to take our two favorite Hollywood stars, Julia Roberts and Scarlett Johansson, as our example. Julia Roberts is 45, or 40 rather, Scarlett Johansson is 25. Scarlett Johansson is not as old as Julia Roberts. It's the same as saying Scarlett Johansson is younger than Julia Roberts. You could also say Julia Roberts isn't as young as Scarlett Johansson, and this has the same meaning as Julia Roberts is older than Scarlett Johansson. We can also insert adverbs into these sentences in order to strengthen or weaken the sentence. For example, Brad Pitt is easily as tall as Johnny Depp. Brad Pitt is undoubtedly as tall as Johnny Depp. Brad Pitt is definitely as tall as Johnny Depp. If they're very, very similar or identical, Johnny is exactly or Johnny is just as tall as Robbie Williams. And if they're close to one another, Brad Pitt is about as tall as David Beckham, or Brad Pitt is nearly as tall as David Beckham. What about it if something is completely different? I watched the film 300 the other day, and I can't say that I was impressed. So if I were to compare this film to my favorite films, I may say the film 300 is nowhere near as good as Basquiat. The film 300 is nothing like as good as Im Yuli. The film 300 is in no way as good as City of God. Or the film 300 is not nearly as good as Itu Mama También. Okay, we have a quick activity for you here. Choose two famous people, such as Scarlett Johansson and Brad Pitt, and think of two as sentences for similarity and two negative sentences for difference, and leave them on Facebook or in the comments section below. That brings us to the end of the video. Thank you for watching. Click on the big fat subscribe button if you haven't already, and we have a wonderful related video on adjectives, comparatives and superlatives that you really should watch if you haven't watched it already. Until the next time.